Hey Neopets, it's me, your grandpa. I told you, we were all getting rich in 2024, and I know not everybody wants to restock. We're not all built to refresh a single browser page for hours on end, so I present you with another option. Over the past month, I took a deep dive into the art gallery. I've entered every single week, and I've been gathering tips so I could come to you with a proper art gallery success guide. 2 of my entries made it in last month, and I'm excited to continue my art gallery journey. This guide is roughly broken up into 3 sections. First, I'm going to tell you why you want to enter the art gallery, even if you don't care about art. Second, I'm going to give you my best tips for the art itself that I've learned so far along the way. And third, I'll leave you with all of the technical stuff that you need to know to make sure your submissions actually go through. You may be asking yourself, Gramps, why should I do art gallery? Especially if you're someone who doesn't particularly care about art. But let me tell you, you will care after I show you the prize pool. You can find the full list of contest prizes on Jelly Neo. In fact, I will link the list in the description because it's quite a large list. You can get any of the active paintbrushes, a lot of high rarity pets, including some really expensive retired pets, and all of the P3s, the pets as well. On top of all of that, there are some highlights that are really worth going after. For example, there are 8 stamps in the current prize pool that are worth big money. Any one of these stamps would get you between 500 million and 1 billion Neo points for a single stamp. There are also 10 prizes in the current pool that are exclusive to creative contests, and these are insane moneymakers as well. The prize I'm actually doing all of this work for is the book on this list, Wayland Care 101, which sells for 500 million Neo points. I need it for my booktastic book reader. If the prize has convinced you, let's get down to the guide itself. First things first, you're going to need the art gallery schedule. Every month, in the art category of the Neo boards, TNT posts the schedule for the upcoming month of art gallery themes. So as you can see, in May we have all the normal pet holidays, no surprises there. Loop Day, Hissy Day, Tyranian Day. But there are also a few random theme days that are fun to take advantage of as well, like May Flowers on the 7th and Random Day on the 21st. Now let's get down to actually doing the art. It doesn't just have to be drawings. You can submit photos of Neopets crafts as well. I've seen crocheted stuffed animals and all kinds of cute Neopets crafts win. And not to brag, but these examples I'm showing you were made by my neofriends. Hee hee, aren't they talented? Also, you do not need to worry about being a professional artist. If you take a look through recent winners, all skill levels are encouraged and do well in the art gallery. Here's my biggest tip for the composition of the art that you submit. There's an expression in theater and drag and things like that where they tell you to paint for the back row. Painting for the back row is essentially being bold enough with your artistic choices so that they'll translate even from far away. I think this is also very good advice for the art gallery. If you look at the art gallery section of the site, these images are primarily viewed as small images, so don't get too bogged down by the details. Try to make your work bold and eye-catching even when it's thumbnail size. Keep this in mind when you're choosing colors as well. This Kugra image I won with essentially has 4 colors in it and some highlights and lowlights, and that's it. Anything more than that could take the risk of looking muddy. So yeah, paint for the back row. Or as the great Trixie Mattel once said, paint for the Denny's down the street. Along the same lines, the recipe for success in the art gallery is going to be entering as many times as you can. So not getting caught up in the details is going to help you as well when it comes to budgeting your time. Don't get caught up spending hours and hours working on one entry. My entries are very simple. I probably spend about 3 to 5 hours on each piece. The first time I entered art gallery, I made a mistake and spent about 10 hours on my entry and was so discouraged when I didn't get in. I didn't enter for a month or so after that because I was just so fatigued from that one entry. To avoid that, budget your time so you can submit often without burning yourself out. Also, once you draw a few entries, you can start taking advantage of resubmissions. Anything that doesn't get into the art gallery is fair game for resubmission. For example, I drew this piece for a rainy day themed art gallery. It didn't get in, so I entered it again for Sci Bunny Day. If I wanted to, I could even enter it again for Jub Jub Day, or make some changes to it and submit it for a random day. You'll start to be able to do things like this as well once you get a few drawings done. TNT even does specific random entry days, catered to users who haven't won the art gallery yet, so always keep an eye out for those. Those are also the perfect days for resubmission. I actually specifically wanted to show you a piece that I did for art gallery that hasn't gotten in yet, because watching back the time lapse now, I can see that I took way too much time piddling with the little details. I spent ages here on a background that I didn't even end up using. I went in a different direction with it, a much simpler direction. And now looking on my much simpler pieces that did get into the art gallery, I can see where I made mistakes with this piece in getting way too focused on the background here. I want to show you one more example. I submitted this drawing most recently. This is the one I won most recently with. So I think it's a good example of all the stuff I've talked about so far. I went really simple with the colors in the background, and I wanted to make sure it really popped from far away as a small image. Again, I think I utilized 4 or 5 colors here total, and that bright moon really makes it nice and eye-catching. They ended up using it on the new features tab, which I was really proud about, and I just think it's a good example. I busted out this piece in like an hour, 2 hours, and it's my favorite one of the bunch, so I definitely wanted to include it here as an example. So now we actually send in the art. Check over the file qualifications before submitting. You need a file size of either 500 by 500 or 600 by 600 pixels, and it has to be a JPEG or a GIF file. If you're like me and you draw in Procreate and you export in PNG, it's easy to just go online and search PNG to JPEG converter. Takes about 10 seconds, don't worry about that. I have no way to confirm this one, but I was also told to submit files using only lowercase letters and no special characters, because there's a chance that capitalized characters messes up your submission. Like I said, I don't know if that's true, but I have been following it just in case. I'm gonna write it all down nicely here so you can screenshot it if you need it. 500 by 500 or 600 by 600 pixels, JPG or GIF format. File size has to be 80 or below. Keep your file name all lowercase characters with no special characters included. And I also want to write down here, the option you choose in the drop-down menu doesn't seem to have any effect on whether or not you get chosen. So if you don't see something in the drop-down menu that fits correctly, just use other. In terms of sending in your entry, this is something I didn't know about until very recently, and I do think it has been the key to success. Send in your entry twice, once the night before the art gallery day and once the morning of the art gallery day, around 7 a.m. NST, the day of the art gallery. It's not really set in stone when TNT checks the entries and chooses them for that day's art gallery. So what this does is just makes sure that your stuff is going to be at the top of the pile when the time comes to pick the entries for that day. And when the art gallery comes out, all there's left to do is check and see if you won. You don't get a Neo mail or any kind of notification when your art makes it into the gallery, which is kind of strange. It would be nice to get a Neo mail, get a little heads up, but you'll know if you check your inventory and you have a random prize you weren't expecting, and an art gallery trophy on your lookup. The timing seems to be a bit random, unfortunately. I've seen prizes go out around 10 a.m. NST, and I've also seen prizes go out at like 4 p.m. NST, so just keep an eye out. You do not want the Pant Devil stealing your prize. So to put that all together, grab the art gallery schedule at the beginning of the month so you can see which days you want to enter. Try not to take too long on each entry because you want to be entering as many times as you can. When you're deciding what to draw or what to make, keep in mind that resubmissions are your friend, so it's good to make the piece work for multiple themes. And make sure you submit the correct file type so that everything goes through smoothly. I wish you all the best of luck. If you win art gallery and get a really expensive stamp after watching this video, I need you to tell me so I can live through you. So far, my prizes have been 2 Rarity 99 pets, and I'm not complaining, they've been very cute, but I'm still holding out for Wayland Care 101. And that's gonna do it for me, kiddos. Get out there and enter the art gallery. We need more of these prizes in circulation. And it's a fun way to engage with the site. I really appreciate you for watching. You're all my favorite. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.